The power of living in the moment. Many of us spend our time trapped in the regretful past or anxious about a future we wish to control. Yet, we also cling to the hope that we could improve our own lives, become more joyful, and find enlightenment, though we have no real idea of the way to do so. At the heart of these videos is a focus on living in the present moment as a means to avoid the majority of the pain that we usually encounter. The videos focus on the connection between the mind and suffering. It highlights a variety of perspectives on the many self-destructive ways we use our minds. For example, to trap ourselves in the cycle of suffering and prevent ourselves from being happy. By focusing only on the present and completely ignoring the past or future, you can enhance your life. Many people want to find inner peace and improve their lives. We are seeking, in a word, enlightenment, yet we do not know what steps to take to find it. The first step may be a lot simpler than you think. We tend to live both in the past and the future. One moment we are reminiscing or regretting, and the next moment we are planning or worrying. We neglect the one moment that's completely accessible to us, the present. Only the present is meaningful because nothing ever happens in the future or past. Things occur only in a constant stream of present moments. Whenever you feel something, that feeling gets experienced in the present, because your senses can only give you information about this particular moment. So if we say that something happened in the past, that is not entirely true. It happened in one present moment. What we call the past is a set of one present moments that have passed. Likewise, the future is composed of present moments that have yet to arrive. As this indicates, there are no benefits of worrying about the future or dwelling in the past. If you manage to live in the present moment, you will experience no significant problems, just tiny ones which may be dealt with as they arise. For instance, a challenging task, like writing a scientific paper, often seems too big and complex to be achieved. If you are anxious about the job that's remaining, or regret missed opportunities to work on it in the past, you will get nowhere. But in case if you only solve one problem after another, collecting the data, creating a structure, writing the first chapter, you will accomplish it simpler. So try to stay in the present. Stop clinging to the past and stop dreading the future, and you will see how significantly your life will improve. A part of you needs the pain to survive, and it creates the majority of the pain you experience. Let's say you can manage to live in the present and do not worry about the future or the past. What happens when you experience pain? If pain is felt at the present moment, how do you cope with both physical and psychological suffering? Pain is nothing but a self-created inner resistance to external things you can't change. You experience pain when you're unsatisfied with how things are, yet you do not feel strong enough to alter them. It manifests itself on a psychological level as a negative sense. Because you overthink about the past and the future, but can only live in the present, you don't have any way to change things with which you are unhappy. So you build an internal resistance to the way things are, which you experience as pain. Another characteristic of self-created pain is the pain body, a part of self that requires you to feel pain so that it can survive. Since the pain body is made up of your painful experiences, it develops and strengthens whenever you experience pain. Therefore, it will try to make you sad and miserable. This cycle can go on for a very long time until finally the pain becomes a vital part of you. By then, the pain will be such an essential part of your life that you are going to be reluctant to let it go. It is because doing this would then place your very identity at risk. For example, if something annoys or frustrates you and you become angry, your pain body has taken control. The anger clouds the ability to think and behave logically and leads to more pain. While it seems that all pain comes from the external world, however, in reality, for the most part, it is self-created. It comes from within. The fantastic thing is that because it is self-created, you can do something about it. The ego is a component of your mind that prevents you from being happy. Have you ever wondered why some people undermine themselves? Although nobody wants to be miserable, many individuals are unhappy. The culprit is ego, part of your mind that controls your thoughts and behavior without you noticing. Since it can't be observed easily, most people do not know the degree to which the ego controls their life. For instance, if you later reflect on a dispute you had with somebody, you might notice and possibly regret that you overreacted. Yet, during this dispute, you weren't aware of anything controlling or affecting your thinking and behavior. Ego blocks happiness every time, acting against your own best interests. The existence of a destructive part in your mind that produces misery would explain why so many people suffer, despite nobody wanting to live an unhappy life. For example, some people intentionally sabotage their happiness by deciding to stay in a toxic and painful relationship. The ego drives you into situations of conflict with others. It makes you unhappy with your present situation so that it can get control over your behavior and thinking. For example, if two or more egos come together, drama ensues, as can be seen in tiny offices or households. While people might want to live together peacefully, their egos make them annoyed and cause them to overreact. If you have a fiery debate over a minor issue, like whose turn is it to clean the kitchen, or if a television program is good or not, it is probably the ego. The ego is a destructive part of your mind. It wants to be the central part of you and knows no limitations. So in case you allow it to gain control, it will bring you a lot of suffering. If you would like a more productive and almost painless life, separate yourself from the mind and focus on the body. The ego is just one of the many reasons that it is important to separate yourself from the mind and pay closer attention to your own body. Indeed, many fantastic teachers have spoken about the importance of focusing on the body as opposed to the mind. Why? The mind is responsible for pain. It produces pain by always bringing up memories of the past or by planning for the future, occupying your whole life with regretful memories and anxiety-ridden future situations. In doing so, it keeps you from living in the present. The result is that since you cannot change the past or the future, you always worry about things you cannot possibly change, and that contributes to pain. Indeed, we need to find a way to reduce the mind's power and lower some of its control. How to shift the attention from the mind to the body? Your body knows what's right for you. By listening to your body, you can get a clear awareness of what's essential in your life. Jesus often spoke about the value of the human body and used it in several proverbs and allegories. For instance, your body is a temple. The tales of his resurrection and ascension to heaven always stressed that his body was missing from the tomb. He ascended to heaven with his entire body, not just his soul or mind. Nobody has ever managed to enlightenment while concentrating on the mind and ignoring the body. A classic example can be seen from the Buddha's 6-year abstinence, including fasting, which he undertook to separate himself from his body. The outcome? He did feel separated from his body, but not at peace. He discovered enlightenment only after giving up these practices and feeling at one with his body.